Hey, it's Richard Cleveland again from Earth School, and welcome to our first edition of A Forager's Life, which we kicked off here in early 2017. Right here in front of me is a really great plant that we'll find in cold weather like this. I'm on the shore here, or we're on the shore of the White River in Arkansas, and behind me here, or out in front of me here, is the river, and there's trout rising everywhere. But here on the bank, even though this water fluctuates quite a bit, we have a really choice spring edible called Wintercress. And I've covered this in a previous video, so I'm not going to get into great detail about it, except that members of the mustard family are extremely nutritious. Even though this particular one is very bitter, it is, since it's called Wintercress, it can be found and gathered in very cold weather, which is a really big bonus for this time of year. And I'm going to pull one of these leaves here. You can see it has that very green, beautiful looking leaf, characteristic with leaflets coming out the side of the stem. All mustards kind of exhibit this for the most part. And I've eaten this plant before. Some people don't like it because it is extremely bitter. Very nutritious plant. I don't mind it. You can see that some of these leaves down here look really good. They're really green and vibrant. Those are the ones that you want to collect. And then we have some here which are kind of washed out and weathered. You know, again, just like you go to the store, you want to gather things that look green and fresh. And so we're going to take some time here today, and we're going to gather a bunch of these really nice looking wintercress leaves. And this is early January, by the way, once again. And we're going to eat some of them, more than likely. We'll probably have to mix them in with some milder tasting greens in order to combat the bitterness that most people find disagreeable. And we're going to take some greens too, and we're going to experiment by drying them, like you could dry other bitter plants like dandelion, and turning them into like flakes, essentially, that we could use and sprinkle into soups and stews, so that we can get the nutrition from that plant at a later date without having to experience the bitterness from the fresh plant. So my philosophy is always gather them while you can. If they're available, get them. And so that's what we're going to do today. As a little side note here before we get into that, right off to the edge of this particular cluster of wintercress, we have the green-headed coneflower, or Sochan. And this is a plant which is in the aster family, Asteraceae, I believe, and used to be called the composite family or sunflower family, but that's changed now. And this plant, I can recognize at this stage because I've eaten it before, was eaten raw and also cooked by several native tribes, including the Cherokee down in North Carolina. So we have this in North Carolina in the mountains, and here in Arkansas we have it in abundance here as well. And this will eventually produce a stalk which will have a, it's called the green-headed coneflower. The central disc of this plant is actually going to be green with yellow petals. It's got a very unique flavor to it. I'd say probably about 50% of people would probably like it raw, although I think if you mixed it in with some other types of edibles, they might find it a little bit more agreeable as well. We'll cover this in more detail at a later date, perhaps later this year, when we can show you a specimen that is in full flower and show you the actual petals, show you the stalk. But this is, this tells me that there's going to be green-headed coneflower here because this is the early growth of it. So we'll continue our adventure here as the year goes on. Keep on tuning in, and we're going to keep pumping out videos all year round. So A Forager's Life is officially launched. Please take the time to like our video, maybe share it, and down below me here somewhere is a subscribe button, and we'd be honored if you'd subscribe. And also don't forget to check out our website at www.lovetheearth.com. See you later.